Casual 1,300-year-old tree. I'm 6'5", so my wingspan has to be at least that, maybe even 6'7". That's for the kids. So slippy. Hey, it's Don. I am in Northern California, house sitting and cat sitting. It's a beautiful area and the weather has been great, but for the last day and a half, it has been pouring rain. And just a little while ago, the sun popped out and I took that as a sign that I need to get outside. Well, as you can see, the rain has taken its toll on the road. Let's hope the trails don't look like that. So Guerneville is this hippie town in the mountains north of San Francisco on the Russian River. It's a really small place, not a big population, but it's beautiful. It's surrounded by wineries and this redwood forest. And when I go to places for a little bit longer, I like to go back to my favorite places multiple times. It really does change how you experience a place when you have a chance to see a trail at different times of day, you know, different weekdays, weekends, whatever it happens to be, or see a cafe in the morning or the afternoon, and you get to meet the baristas, you get to see them, they recognize you a second time. It gives you that little feeling of community that you don't always get when you're moving around a lot, and I really appreciate that. And a place like this, the Armstrong Woods, is definitely, it's 5 minutes down the road, and it's definitely worth coming back to. So I just walked into the main entrance of the park just back here. This is Armstrong Woods, and when you come in, there's a parking lot directly here on your right where the visitor center is. Now, there is a fee for parking and there is an entrance fee if you go through the gate up here, and I think it's only like $10, maybe a little bit less if you're only parking out here. But you can also park just out here outside the front gates if you're on a budget and you're being a little bit frugal like I am. There is a way to do that. Support the park in any way if you can, but if you need to, there is a way around that cost. That's a good reminder. That's something I always look for. Is there a way that I can walk in? Is there a way I can cycle in? Is there a way I can save money a little bit? And I mean, if I don't have to drive, even better. So as soon as you come in here, you're just surrounded by this beautiful grove of redwoods, some of them 1,000 years and more older. And they're huge and beautiful and just humbling. And right now, because of the rain, the clouds are low and everything's dripping, and there's this beautiful mist. It's very ethereal and just really, really cool to be in here at this time, and it's very calm. I gotta say, there are more people out on these trails than I expected, but that just reminds me of when I lived in Oregon. If you don't go out in the rain, you just don't go out. I write off the interpretive trail sometimes, but I forget they have their own special place, and all of the placards that tell you about the fungi and the lichen and the trees and the history of the place is really important as well. I am just enjoying the walk right now because there have been a lot of puddles, there's a lot of mud, it's very slippery. I tried to run a little bit, it wasn't really pleasant, so I think I'll just do the walk and then I'll run back on the paved road. That seems like a better choice. In any case, I'm just happy I'm out here. So slippy. That is someone else's footprint. Someone has stepped there and slipped. And this is exactly why I don't run in muddy areas like this, especially when it's like slippy mud. I would much rather walk on ice than run on mud because it's so dangerous and it's so unpredictable. So this tree is a great example of just how big some of these trees are here. As you can see, I'm 6'5", so my wingspan has to be at least that, maybe even 6'7". That's for the kids. But you can just see the scale of these trees, the size of them, and they're all over. It's just humbling to know how big and how long these trees have been around. And it's just something special about being in a forest like this. Right there is the Colonel Armstrong tree behind me. Approximately 1,400 years old. It's 308 feet tall and 14 feet in diameter. It's a very big tree and a very old tree. And Colonel Armstrong, obviously, who this area is named for, came here in 1874 as a land investor, purchased the forest, and then eventually developed a deep appreciation for the woods and the redwoods, and then decided, because of the alarming rate of the destruction of the redwoods in the area for, you know, for wood and for building San Francisco, he decided to preserve this section for future generations, which I will say, thank you, Colonel Armstrong. I very much appreciate that. So I know I said I was going out purely for a run, and then I ended up going for mostly a walk. But really, whatever gets you outside, that's the important part. Sometimes I say I'm going to go out for a walk and then I end up running. Sometimes it's the opposite. Anything you do to get you outside, get some exercise, some fresh air, is better than staying inside. Look at this tree. Clearly it used to be a very large, wide redwood tree here that's burnt out in a fire. But growing on top of it is now a brand new tree. I assume that also might be a redwood, a young one. But either way, I love this kind of thing about nature, the regrowth, the rebirth, how resilient it is. It's really interesting to see the remnants of the fire and how much these trees are still thriving after clearly a pretty big fire here. A lot of these trees are charred at the base. I know it's not always a bad thing, and it's really cool to see these kind of trees, redwoods and sequoias, that manage to kind of take those as part of the life cycle and live through it and help grow new life because of it. So you can see this tree behind me has been totally burned out in the center. So apparently the redwood trees are more resistant to fire because their bark has tannin instead of resin. So when they burn the inside, and the inside can burn completely out like this and hollow them out. And then the outside edges become even stronger and bigger, and they create these buttresses that help keep it strong and upright for much longer, making them incredibly resilient. Just super, super cool to learn stuff like this. You hear that? You can hear the dripping. And if you're ever out in the woods after it rains, you never know, is it just dripping from the trees being wet, or is it actually raining? Not that it matters. If it rains, I'll get wet and then I'll dry. I don't mind that. But my mind is always just trying to figure that out. Just saw a little banana slug back there on the trail. You've probably seen them. They're like the yellow-green guys, and they're big decomposers. They break down the leaves and the things on the forest floor, and they help that forest life cycle. Really cool to see little wildlife like that. Try to be mindful of like looking around, first of all, so I don't step on them, but also I just love to see stuff like that, fungi and bugs and snails and slugs and things like that. Love it when you see those things. That's the beauty of being in the forest. You never know what you're going to see. All right, back to the car now. That was really nice. Saw some really cool mushrooms growing back there, and I think I got some really cool shots. And saw the banana slug, had a really nice walk, a little bit of a run, and just as I finished up, it started to rain on me a little bit here, which felt kind of good after the run, honestly. And honestly, can't really expect or hope for anything better than this weather on a rainy day. It was a great way to get out and do a little exercise and get a little air. And now I'm gonna head back and show you that surprise at the house I was talking about. Let's go do it. This is a pretty great way to relax after a great day outside. And this is definitely one of those things you don't get at every house sit. So taking full advantage while I can. I've been out here on the cool mornings when it's foggy and beautiful out here. And I was out here the other night with all the lights off. I could see all the stars, and I could see the northern lights when we had that big storm. It was incredible. So just a perfect way to take advantage of what you have in front of you. I hope this video was enjoyable for you. I hope it has inspired you to take advantage of whatever you have in front of you. So go out there, enjoy nature, enjoy whatever you have, and thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.